What's up, everybody? Eric here. It is Sunday late afternoon and I am just doing this weekly vlog to wrap up this weekend, talk about this weekend shows. Started making these videos, just trying to get like 1% better with every video. So I noticed on last week's vlog I was walking through this trail where I walk my dogs, and the leaves were so crunchy that that's all I could hear. It was just the crunching of the leaves. So I was like, that's no good. Violet, come. Walking my dog. And so this week I decided to blow the trail with my leaf blower, and now I'm walking and it's nice and quiet. So this will be way better. So already 1% better. Probably wondering why well, this gimbal thing's a little weird getting used to too. Probably wondering why I'm doing these videos, or in case you're wondering why I'm doing these videos. One is I just wanted to document this music journey and what's going on. I don't know, so my great grandkids one day can just see what a goof I was. And number two, to kind of help out maybe, you know, somebody that's a new gigging musician or whatever, because I've definitely done a lot of different trials, you know, bumped my head against the wall a few times. So I thought maybe I could share some stuff. So that's the purpose of these videos. And then each week I was just on Sundays going to do a vlog of this past week's shows and what went right, what went wrong, whatever. This week was a pretty busy week because I picked up Sunday. I don't always play Sundays, and man, this gimbal is super hard to get used to. Anyway, so I played Sunday, and I also picked up that show on Tuesday, that corporate event, which I made some videos about. So it was a busy week. Tuesday I played that corporate event. It was a clam bake. Corporate gigs are great if you can get them. They're shorter, they pay good. Sent me home with a clam dinner, always good. So that was good. I do have a day job, so this music thing is a side hustle for me, which I highly recommend. If you can get through some songs, 25, 30 songs, you should seriously consider it, because it's better than any other side hustle that I know of. You could, you know, I keep telling my kid plays, but he doesn't play out, he doesn't gig. And he's very good, but he just plays at home. And I'm like, man, you could make your house payment easily. But anyway, that's his thing. So, but yeah, so the rest of the week flew by. Friday night I played at one of my favorite wineries out in Andover, Ohio, Stable Winery. I just love it out there. I have a lot of regulars and just always have a good time. It was a little slow this week because the high school football game going on. Something you have to deal with in Northern Ohio is local football. High school football, it's popular. But we still had a nice little crowd, a lot of regulars. I had a couple friends that drove out there, and it was a good show. I used my smaller setup. This is a little info for any musicians out there, but I did use my smaller setup, which is the Bose S1, which literally is a small little box speaker. And it has the S1 Plus, the one they just came out with, has a transmitter for your microphone and for your guitar, which is awesome because you don't need any cords, you don't need a mic cord, you don't need a guitar cord. I didn't use my TC Helicon Play Acoustic like I normally do, which has guitar effects and vocal effects. I just scrap all that when I'm inside in a small room. I still use my Beat Buddy, but I used a wireless transmitter to hook that up to that S1. So I literally had no wires and one trip from the car. There's some stairs there at that gig to get up. So minimal equipment. When I first started gigging, I used to bring a couple guitars, a rug, all this stuff, amps and whatever. And over the years I realized, you know, the least amount of stuff you can use, the best. So, you know, I got some friends that, you know, I got one friend that it's his thing. He does what he wants, you know, you do what you want, but he brings like 8 guitars, and this is a 3-hour acoustic inside gig. You know, you're getting paid the same whether you bring 8 guitars or 1 guitar, but he'll bring guitars and a mixing board and lights and 2 speakers and a wedge monitor. You're playing inside in one little room. I don't know. I just kind of learned over the years that you can get the least amount of stuff you can get away with. Now I do keep extra stuff in my car, so if those transmitters go out or whatever, I have cables and I have cords and I have extension cords, and I keep an emergency box of just junk in my car. So that I would recommend. But I'll try and, I don't know how good my editing skills are yet, but I'll try and show a quick little video of my inside small room winery setup for this winter. Which is awesome. So that was Friday. Then Saturday I played in Geneva on the Lake, which, if you don't know Geneva on the Lake in northern Ohio, it's a touristy area. The place I play, the bar's owned by the mayor and they're open year round, but a lot of the street is seasonal and shuts down after Labor Day. But you know, just think, as far as the vibe goes, it's like, you know, Harleys, camping, outside, you know, fair, pizza, cotton candy, that kind of thing. That's the vibe you have there. Anything goes, and I've seen everything out there. It was a little quiet too because it was a little cool. But they did have a Halloween like pub crawl thing going on, where people were going from bar to bar, dressed up in their Halloween costumes or whatever. So I got like, throughout the night, there'd be waves of people that would come in and they were ready to party and have a good time. So that was fun. I had a good time. And then I had some regulars out there come out when I'm playing out there. So that was kind of cool. And then today, Sunday, I played a fundraiser for Project Hope for the homeless here in Lake County, Ohio. This was in Wickliffe at the Sound Stage Tavern. And it was put on by Max Schaefer, who does Max Monster Ball. He does it every year for Project Hope, and he does a bunch of stuff throughout the year. He has parties, he calls them parties, and fundraisers and stuff like that. So he's a pretty cool guy. So I've played a few of his things, and he asked me to play this today. There were two bands and then myself. I opened up. I played like a 45-50 minute set, and then there were two full bands after me. But went well. It was a good time. And I didn't miss anything with my Cleveland Browns because they stink. So that's all right. Yeah, so that's kind of a wrap. It's Sunday. I'm just going to chill out the rest of the night and kind of plan my content. You know, it's a lot, this solo music hustle, to really get it rolling, like, at least the way I do it. Like, I treat it, you know, I take it pretty seriously, and I plan everything out for the week. I'll probably get into some longer form content on you know, what I actually do. But, you know, certainly if you have any questions or comments or whatever, let me know and subscribe, and just kind of see where this goes. So have a good week. Thanks.